What if I told you that for ancient Egyptians, the most important day of the year wasn't a pharaoh's coronation or a great military victory, but a silent event in the stars? And what if the modern spiritual world has tapped into this ancient power, creating what we now call the 8-8 Lion's Gate portal? But the real story, the original magic, is far more profound than most people realize. Every year on August 8th, many believe a cosmic gateway opens, making it the luckiest day for manifestation. This idea is tangled up with the majesty of ancient Egypt, the star Sirius, and the Great Sphinx. But here's the truth: the Egyptians never celebrated August 8th. Their calendar was different, and so was their timing. So, what did they really know? Why did they honor this specific celestial cycle with such devotion? Today we're unraveling the historical mystery to reveal the true spiritual secrets of the Nile. Secrets you can still use to channel this powerful energy for your own renewal. This is the story of how an ancient astronomical wonder inspired a modern spiritual phenomenon, and why the original truth is the key to unlocking its full power. The mystery: unpacking the modern 8-8 portal. To solve the mystery, we first need to understand what the 8-8 Lion's Gate portal is today. Each year, from about July 28th to August 12th, the spiritual community looks to the heavens. This period is seen as a time when the veil between our world and the spirit world is at its thinnest, allowing a supercharged influx of cosmic energy. And the portal is said to hit its absolute peak on August 8th, or 8-8. Astronomically, this window is defined by a beautiful alignment. It's when Earth, the Sun in the sign of Leo, and the star Sirius all line up with Orion's belt. Sirius, the brightest star in our night sky, is often called our spiritual sun, a beacon of higher consciousness. Meanwhile, our physical sun is moving through Leo, the sign of the lion, representing courage, strength, and personal power. Believers feel this is the most powerful time of the year for manifestation, a day to set clear intentions, release old baggage, and call in the future you want. The energy is also amplified by the date's numerology. In modern systems, the number 8, turned on its side, is the infinity symbol, representing limitless potential and flow. On 8-8, that power is doubled, creating what feels like a direct line to the universe. This modern event is heavily linked to ancient Egypt in popular culture. You see it everywhere: pyramids, the Sphinx, the gods and goddesses of the Nile. The story often goes that the Lion's Gate is a sacred tradition passed down directly from the pharaohs. And this is where our mystery really begins. Because while the inspiration for the Lion's Gate is Egyptian, the history is quite different and way more fascinating. The Egyptians didn't have a Gregorian calendar. They didn't mark August 8th. But they did watch the star Sirius with a reverence that bordered on worship, for a reason that was the very lifeblood of their civilization. The historical context: the true new year of the Nile. For the ancient Egyptians, their entire world revolved around a single, massive event: the annual flooding of the Nile River. In a land of scorching desert, this flood wasn't a disaster, it was salvation. It was the event that left behind a thick layer of fertile black silt, guaranteeing a good harvest and the survival of their civilization. Their year had 3 seasons, and the most important was Akhet, the season of inundation. Knowing when it would arrive was a matter of life and death. So, how did they know it was coming? They looked to the sky. Specifically, they watched for one single star. The star we call Sirius was known to the Egyptians as Sopdet. After being hidden by the sun's glare for about 70 days, Sopdet would make its dramatic return. Just before sunrise, it would rise on the eastern horizon for the first time, a brilliant jewel in the dawn sky. This is called the Heliacal rising of Sirius. For the Egyptians, this was the true celestial sign. It consistently happened just before the Nile began to swell. This, not a date on our calendar, was their new year, a festival they called Wep Renpet. It was a time of huge celebration, symbolizing rebirth, renewal, and the promise of abundance. And historical records show that for most of ancient Egyptian history, this sacred event happened in early to mid-July, not on August 8th. The 70 days that Sirius was missing from the sky also held a deep spiritual meaning. It mirrored the 70 days it took for mummification, the sacred process that prepared a soul for the afterlife. Just as Sirius vanished into the sun's light to be purified and reborn, the deceased entered a period of transition before emerging into eternal life. This cycle of disappearance and return was a powerful metaphor for death and resurrection, woven into the fabric of their beliefs. Their entire civil calendar was originally based on this Sothic cycle, named after their name for Sirius. The heliacal rising of Sirius was their one true anchor, the constant promise that life, water, and abundance would return. The spiritual significance, the tears of a goddess. The Egyptians didn't just see a star, they saw a goddess. Saadet was a powerful deity in her own right, the bringer of the new year and the Nile flood. She was a goddess of fertility and a guide for pharaohs in the afterlife. Over time, her identity became deeply intertwined with the greatest goddess of them all, Isis. To really get the spiritual weight of Sirius's return, you have to know the foundational myth of Egypt, the story of Isis and Osiris. Osiris was the kind king who taught humanity civilization. His jealous brother Set murdered him and scattered his body parts across Egypt. Isis, his devoted wife and a great magician, traveled the land to gather every piece of her husband. The myth tells us that the annual flooding of the Nile was caused by the tears of sorrow Isis shed for her lost husband. So, the heliacal rising of Sirius, the star of Isis, was the divine signal that the goddess's powerful love and grief were about to manifest as the life-giving waters of the flood. The star's return was the return of hope. It was the promise that even after death, Osiris would be reborn through Isis's magic as Lord of the afterlife, and the land itself would be resurrected by the flood. This celestial event was a cosmic drama reflecting the cycles of death, grief, and rebirth. Sirius wasn't just a star, it was Isis herself, returning to announce the resurrection of her husband and all of Egypt. This belief was so central that Egyptians encoded it into their architecture. While the popular theory that the Great Sphinx is aligned to the constellation of Leo is still debated by Egyptologists, it's well established that many Egyptian temples were built with precise astronomical alignments. Temples at Dendera and Philae, both dedicated to goddesses linked with Isis, are believed to have been oriented toward the rising of Sirius. These alignments were no accident. They were designed so that on the day of its heliacal rising, starlight would shine down a central axis into the temple's darkest inner sanctum, symbolically fertilizing the sacred space. The priests weren't just watching a star, they were orchestrating a sacred reunion between the divine in the heavens and the centers of power on earth. The 8-8 portal connection, forging a modern tradition. So, if the ancient Egyptians celebrated this event in July, how did it become the 8-8 Lion's Gate portal? The answer is a beautiful modern mix of different esoteric systems, astrology, numerology, and a fresh take on ancient wisdom. The first piece of the puzzle is astrology. Because of a slow wobble in the Earth's axis, the constellations have gradually shifted their positions over thousands of years. Today, the heliacal rising of Sirius, as seen from Cairo, happens around the end of July or the beginning of August. This period lines up with the sun's journey through the zodiac sign of Leo. Leo, the lion, is a symbol of royalty, courage, and creative power. This gave us the lion for the Lion's Gate. The Great Sphinx, with its lion's body, became the modern guardian of this portal, a physical anchor for this cosmic energy. The second piece is numerology. The date August 8th, or 8-8, was chosen for its symbolic power in Western numerology, a system of belief totally separate from the ancient Egyptian worldview. In numerology, the number 8 is a powerhouse. It represents success, authority, and achievement. And when you turn it on its side, it becomes the symbol for infinity, representing endless cycles and unlimited potential. By choosing 8-8, modern mystics created a master date, where the energy of infinity and abundance is supercharged. So the Lion's Gate portal isn't an unbroken tradition from ancient Egypt. It's a powerful modern spiritual creation. It takes the Egyptian reverence for Sirius and its cycle of rebirth, combines it with the astrological energy of the sun in Leo, and focuses it all through the numerological lens of 8-8. It's a bridge between worlds, not just the spiritual and physical, but between the ancient past and our modern search for meaning. Before we get to the timeless secrets the Egyptians used to channel this energy, if you're enjoying this journey into history and mystery, take a second to subscribe and hit the notification bell. We're all about decoding ancient wisdom for modern life, helping you unlock these truths in your own journey. The Revelation, the 4 timeless secrets of the Nile. The fact that Egyptians didn't call it the 8-8 Lion's Gate doesn't make their wisdom any less valuable. In fact, understanding what they actually did allows us to connect with this energy on a much deeper level. They left behind a blueprint for working with cosmic cycles. Here are the 4 great secrets of the Nile, reframed for today. Secret number 1, the power of sacred attention. The Egyptians were master astronomers. They didn't just glance at the sky, they watched it with focused, sacred attention. They knew the cosmos moved in divine cycles, and by aligning with them, they could create harmony. The secret here is to cultivate your own practice of sacred attention. You don't need a telescope. Just pay attention, notice the moon phases. Feel the energy shift with the seasons. See the patterns in your own life, your cycles of energy, creativity, and rest. By observing these rhythms, you stop being a passive bystander and become an active co-creator with the universe. Secret number 2, the wisdom of the dark. The 70-day disappearance of Sirius wasn't an absence. It was a transformation. It was a journey through the underworld, a necessary darkness before a glorious rebirth. In our own lives, we often fear these underworld periods, times of uncertainty, grief, or feeling lost. The Egyptian secret is to honor this darkness. It's in these quiet times that we shed what no longer serves us. It's where our old self is prepared so that a new, more powerful self can be born. The portal's energy isn't just about the bright, shining peak. It's about honoring the journey through the shadows that makes the light so brilliant. Secret number 3, where spirit meets action. For the Egyptians, there was no split between spirit and matter. The Nile flood was deeply spiritual, the tears of a goddess, the resurrection of a god. But it was also profoundly practical, creating fertile soil to grow food. They understood abundance was a result of this sacred union. The secret is to bridge this gap in your own life. Manifestation isn't just about wishing, it's about grounding your spiritual intentions in real-world action. Your spiritual abundance and your material abundance feed each other. Just as Isis's tears nourish the soil, your spiritual work must nourish the concrete steps you take toward your goals. Secret number 4, the power of your personal myth. The Egyptians used their grand myths, the stories of Isis and Osiris, as a kind of spiritual technology. It wasn't just a story, it was a framework for focusing collective intention. By tying the rising of Sirius to this powerful narrative of love, loss, and rebirth, they gave the event immense purpose. The secret for us is to create our own guiding myths. What story are you living? Are you the hero on a quest? The phoenix rising from the ashes? When you frame your intentions within a powerful personal story, you give them direction and mythic force, turning a simple desire into a destined reality. Now let's apply these ancient secrets to the modern 8-8 Lion's Gate. Here is a simple ritual you can do to connect with this potent blend of old and new energy. Find a quiet space. You might want to light a candle or have a journal ready. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, let go of the day. Release any tension in your shoulders, your jaw, your mind. Now bring your awareness to the sky above. Imagine a vast dark canvas. Among all the stars, one begins to shine with impossible brightness. This is Sirius, the spiritual sun, the star of Isis. Feel its brilliant blue-white light traveling across the cosmos, a beacon of ancient wisdom. See this light drawing closer, its energy filled with the promise of renewal. As this Sirian light reaches you, imagine it pouring into the top of your head, filling your entire body. This light is cleansing, washing away old stories and limiting beliefs. Feel it moving through you like a river of liquid starlight. This is your flood of renewal. Now feel the powerful golden light of the sun in Leo shining upon you. This is the energy of courage, strength, and your own power. Feel this golden light merging with the cool silver light of Sirius inside your heart. See the spiritual and the physical balanced within you. In your heart center, see these two lights swirl together to form a luminous infinity symbol. This is your personal gateway, a portal of infinite potential and rebirth. Breathe into this symbol. Feel its power expanding, reminding you that you are a limitless being. Now, with this energy activated, gently open your eyes and pick up your journal. Reflect on these questions. Sacred attention. What is one pattern in my life I'm now ready to observe with sacred attention? What is this cycle trying to teach me? The wisdom of the dark. What old skin or limiting belief am I ready to release during this portal? What part of me has been in the underworld, waiting to be reborn? Spirit and action. My great spiritual intention for this time is write your intention. What is one practical, grounded step I can take in the next 24 hours to make this real? Your personal myth. If my life were a myth, what would be the title of this next chapter? What heroic qualities am I ready to embody to live this story fully? Take your time, write from the heart. This is your personal conversation with the cosmos, your blueprint for renewal. The 8-8 Lion's Gate portal is a powerful meeting of energies, a modern celebration inspired by an ancient truth. While the pharaohs of Egypt didn't circle August 8th on their calendars, they understood the profound truth at its heart. They knew that aligning with the cosmos was the key to unlocking abundance on Earth. They knew that the return of a distant star could signal the rebirth of an entire civilization. The real magic of this time isn't just in the stars or the numbers. The true power lies in your choice to participate. It's in honoring the wisdom of the past, not by copying it, but by understanding its principles and applying them to your own life. You now hold the secrets of the Nile, to pay attention, to honor the darkness before the dawn, to unite spirit with action, and to write your own powerful myth. As you move through this gateway, remember that you aren't just watching. You are a co-creator with the universe. You are the descendant of an ancient tradition of stargazers who knew that as above, so below. The portal is open. The energy is yours. Step through with courage and claim the renewal that is your birthright.